so I got to sit down and play guitar, which is always fun. Give you a little history on my background. My name's Justin Salinas. I am originally from Goliad, went to school over there, and not long after college, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and I always wrote songs from the time I was a kid, but I wanted wanted to be a rock star like most people that pick the guitar up, or a performing musician. And moved to town over there in Nashville thinking, well, I'm the top dog in Goliad. I'm gonna be over here a week and I'm gonna have a record deal. Doesn't work that way usually, so got a little discouragement there, but I stuck with it and I ended up living there for almost 7 years. Had some really good things happen. I'm with a company called CEG Publishing, who is owned by, anybody know who Garth Brooks is? Country singer? Very, very famous country singer, probably one of the most famous country singers of all time. I'm signed to his lead guitar player, Johnny Garcia's publishing company. And does anybody know what a publisher does in the music business? Okay, I'll let y'all know. So if you're a performing artist or musician, the record label kind of represents you. As a songwriter, the publisher represents you. What a publisher's job is, I write the songs, take it to my publisher, and he goes around town and pitches it to all of the artists that are looking to put songs on records in whatever given year it is. So they represent you, and they get your songs out there, get your songs sold. The cool thing about songwriting that not a lot of people know, especially in Nashville, is you think your George Straits and your Jason Aldeans and all the really famous singers are the ones that write their music. Not true. About 95% of them do not write. All they do is they go, and if they're recording an album, they'll go visit however many publishers around town, pick about 30 to 40 songs, and they put them on hold. What that means to me as a songwriter is when they come to me and say, hey Justin, so-and-so wants to cut your song, he wants to put it on hold. That means they give me a small amount of money, it's usually like a couple grand, to hold the song, and that basically means that I cannot, nor can my publisher, pitch it to another artist until the artist that put it on hold decides, okay, I'm gonna cut it, or hey, I'm not. Like I said, they pick 30 or 40 songs, and they'll narrow it down to the 12, 15 songs that they're gonna put on their album.
And
Yes.
how long does that take?
As far as what? Put it on
How long
hold?
do they take to decide?
It depends on them. Sometimes they'll decide on their songs within a month. Sometimes it take them a year. It's just up to them. That's why they give you money up front. So even if, like, the closest I've ever been to a big cut, I've had a few songs cut by Texas country artists. The closest I've ever been to a big Nashville star. Anybody heard of Lee Brice, big country singer?
Oh,
I had a song on hold for Lee Brice. He narrowed that album down to 13 songs. I missed the cut by 3. I was in the 16s and I was like, it's happening, I'm gonna get it. And yeah, they did the. Huh?
Oh yeah, flexing on Instagram.
I was happy. I'll tell you what, man. I was telling everybody. I kind of jumped the gun. I called my parents, everybody back home. I was like, guess what?
I made it.
About to have a song on the radio for Lee Brice. I had some songs on the radio for Texas country artists, but Lee Brice dude's won a Grammy, so it's a big deal with me. Well, I would have made a pretty penny on that one too. So I was the air was deflated out of me whenever I found he was like, hey man, you can have your song back. I was like, oh, I hate you so much right now. But that's the business, that's how it works. So basically he had that on hold for, 7 or 8 months before I got $2,000 for them to hold it. And of course I don't have to pay that money back, of course, but still, it was a tough blow on that one. But I got close, and that's all it takes. Anywho, so songwriters pretty much run the show in Nashville. Now, does anybody know what royalties are?
Every time it's played, you get a check.
Got it. He's got it. Now, there's different kinds of royalties. Your mechanical royalties basically are digital downloads, album sales, song spins on the radio. So there's 3 companies that divvy out royalties. You get paid every 3 months. They cut a check every quarter, straight to your mailbox, however you want to get it. Those 3 companies are BMI, ASCAP, and CSAC. Songwriters will choose to be represented by one of those 3, and their job is, they have, like Mr. Tharp said, your brother's with a
My brother's one of the directors at CSAC.
CSAC, okay. Huge companies. Their job is to basically monitor, they get reports from every radio station that's spinning songs, and they go through, this certain song was spun this many times in these 3 months, all over the country, and it's hundreds of thousands of times depending on how popular your song was. And they pay the rate that's decided. That changes every 5 years. Right now, I think it's 9.1 cents per spin. So you can imagine, every time your song plays, you get 9 cents. It adds up. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if your song's being spun 20 times a day on one radio station, but 20 times a day on 10,000 radio stations, that 9 cents adds up real fast.
Wow.
And that's just radio. Of course, album sales. Of course, digital downloads. Now, I don't know if the Music Modernization Act just got signed by Donald Trump. They've been fighting for years, and what the Music Modernization Act says is royalty rates fluctuate, but they only cover albums, radio spins, live music spins, jukeboxes, which are kind of relics nowadays a lot of places, and sync royalties, which are when one of your songs gets on a TV show or a movie or a commercial or whatever it may be. They fluctuate, but the law has not been changed or updated since the 50s. So, guess what didn't exist in the 50s? Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Amazon Music,
SoundCloud.
the internet, SoundCloud, any of that, YouTube. So, since streaming music has become available, and that's how the majority, like, how many of y'all go out and buy albums versus how many of y'all, so y'all buy physical copies of the album?
No, the last one I bought, like, Keep Real, it was like freaking years ago. Like when Justin Bieber became like the big thing with Baby, that was like the last album I actually like.
So most of y'all buy the album on your phone and stream it digitally, correct?
On YouTube.
Well, I mean, y'all listen to it. Well, I mean, let's see, therein lies our problem. I would be willing to bet that most of y'all download Spotify, Pandora, and listen to it for free. Okay, nothing wrong with that, but here's the problem with it. So, I'll give you an example, really good buddy of mine, his name is Matt Warren. He wrote a song for a very famous country artist named Gary Allan. It's called Every Storm Runs Out of Rain. It was the #1 song for like 2 months. He should have made a lot of money. He made a lot of money in radio but he got his check from the Spotify, Pandora, iTunes people, the digital check. His check was like $26 for 3 months. Yeah. So he did the math on it. His song was spun hundreds of thousands of times digitally, or streamed rather than spun. He ended up doing the math and figuring out that he made 1/10 of a penny per spin. So that means his song had to play 10 times for him to get 1 cent. That is highway robbery, folks. That is awful. But it's because people use free music services, and if you buy it, well now see that's, even if you bought it,
No, like Spotify Premium.
yes, and that's good, that's what you want to do, but the problem with it still, even though you're paying for the service and you're doing your part as a consumer, which is awesome, Spotify and the CEOs and the people over there that are making money, they don't have a law telling them you have to pay them X amount, the songwriter X amount per spin. So they're pocketing all that money for themselves and giving the songwriter 1/10 of a penny. I mean, they should be in jail for that. Well, finally, we've changed the law, the Music Modernization Act, which says we have to pay a fair wage, the digital services, that they're taking it to court. So it's still in court right now. With any luck, that's awful. How does somebody live off that as a musician? Yeah, it's worse than gas money. You can't do anything with that, you know? So yeah, it's pretty sad that those people choose to screw other people over to get rich. Very not cool. Anywho, other thing, like I said, 9 cents for your radio spins and album sales. Talk about sync royalties. What we call sync royalties are, like I said, when you have a song in a movie, a song that's on a TV show, commercial. How many of y'all watch sports in here? TV. So you know, like on a football game or basketball game, when they're going to commercial or coming back from commercial, they'll have like a 8-second snippet of a song playing before the game starts back up. Those 8 seconds make you a lot of money as a songwriter if your song gets spun. Like I said, 9.1 cents doesn't seem that much. On a sync royalty, you get half. You get 50%. ESPN, ABC, CBS, NBC, they're paying a lot of money to get those songs, and you get 50% of it. So you get a song like that on a show or movie, that's where your bread and butter money's gonna come from as a songwriter. The other thing that a lot of people don't know, I didn't talk about this last class, forgot to mention it, but I'll mention it now. And I doubt y'all know who Barry Manilow is. No. I know you do. Barry Manilow's a very famous musician from like my parents' age. Awesome dude. Had a ton of songs. Not a lot of people know. Y'all know what a jingle is?
Yeah.
Jingles, like McDonald's. I'm loving it. You know, all Band-Aid song, all that. So Barry Manilow, despite all the great songs that he made money on, made the majority of his money on jingles. Most of it. He's the Band-Aid song guy, he's the McDonald's guy, he's the like a good neighbor, State Farm is there guy. Made a ton of money for little stuff like that. Amazing. So yeah, royalties, like I said, divvied out every 3 months. You can make a pretty good living. For example, I gave y'all the horror story scenario with a $26 check my friend got for a #1 song. I will give you the flip side to that. So when I went to town in Nashville, I had a guy named Clay Mills, kind of took me under his wing as a mentor. Who's heard of Darius Rucker? He has a song, anybody heard a song that goes, I don't think about it, country song? One of y'all? Okay. Anyway, #1 song, Grammy-winning song. It was Billboard #1 song in the entire country, any genre of music, for like 4 months. Back in 2007 or 8, I want to say. Maybe 8, no, actually it might have been like 2010. I don't know. It was a while back. About a decade ago almost now. Anywho, Clay Mills wrote this song. He also wrote Beautiful Mess for Diamond Rio. He's written a few Grammy-winning songs. Fantastic songwriter. Took me under his wing, and I started co-writing with him. Became really good friends with him. And so he lives in this ridiculous mansion in Nashville. Rich dude. Just writes songs. I'm like, man, how much did this guy make for a #1 song? I want to know, you know? He's living good. So I asked him, what was your last like check stub like from, you know, BMI? And he's like, all right, I'll tell you. He showed me, and by this time, mind you, that song wasn't #1 anymore, but it was still like in the top 50. So it was still in the charts. His stub for that quarter before that was $646,000 for 3 months. He told me, I haven't gotten a check less than $400,000 yet. So he's averaging $500,000 every 3 months for one song. $2 million a year. One song. Cool thing about royalties too, once you write a song, those royalties will be collected 75 years after you die. Your family can get them, your kids, your grandkids, you'll be able to support your family with those royalties. After 75 years, they become public domain and nobody gets money anymore. So, I mean, that guy is basically, probably 50 years from now, that song's not gonna be as fun as much as it is now, but he's still gonna be making probably a few $1,000 every 3 months on it. Right now, he's making $1 million a year still on that song. Wrote it 10 years ago, you know? So you can make a heck of a living off of writing songs. So that's just a little bit of stuff. I wanna go around the room, because I didn't get to meet y'all. Name?
Gordon.
Good to meet you, Justin.
Jada.
Jada. Pleasure.
Michael.
Michael. Good to meet you.
Salma.
Salma.
What's his name?
What's that? Good to meet you.
Jay.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you all. Alright, I'll start on this side. How long you been playing guitar and what got you into it? First year, why'd you decide you wanted to give it a try? Excellent. Just this year, and why did you get into it? Awesome, awesome.
I was kind of forced into guitar.
Forced into guitar, okay, well that's, man, hey, it's not a bad thing to be forced into, I promise you that.